So, it has been around 3 weeks since my last tier list, but the meta has changed a lot, right? There's been multiple smaller readjustments to the patch, the original big balance patch we had. The latest one was a small buff to jungle and an adjustment to really outlying heroes like Billy, for example. So I think now that we had some time to play the patch, play the new version of the patch, and figure out the meta, I have a pretty clear picture, I want to say, on the strengths of the characters. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube! If you're watching this on YouTube, this is a tier list that's supposed to be across all ranks, right? So I'm trying to consider everything. Some characters are stronger or weaker in low rank. You know the drill at this point if you've watched one before, right? So we're gonna try to take an average, and I'll try to give you in-depth thoughts on every single character and why I rate them the way I do. But to summarize, we're in a deathball meta still. Stacking together as 4 or 5 is really strong right now still, right? Jungle is still pretty weak, but split pushing walkers got easier, and some characters again got hit quite hard, which I'm guessing we're gonna do this out of order this time, because I want to talk about like a few very interesting ones. So Infernus got the biggest nerf he has received yet, okay? So what happened with Infernus is, if he has afterburn on you, if you hit another bullet, it used to refresh the entire timer, right? So all the Infernus had to do was get the afterburn on you once, and then as long as he hit one bullet in the next few seconds, it would re-extend and would go back to full, and the enemy would just die. Now it's only a percentage of the afterburn, which means he has to continuously hit bullets, otherwise the afterburn will run out. Plus, his base damage on the gun got nerfed quite significantly. I can't speak. Quite significantly too. So, with all that being said, I think Infernus is pretty weak now. I think he's pretty weak. I almost want to put him in C tier. In fact, I think I will. I've come to realize, fighting against Infernus, he just does not nearly do as much damage as he used to you. Because there will be moments, right, where the Infernus will stop shooting and then he has to flame dash, right? And flame dash away, and in those situations, you will just stop burning. And he just does a lot less damage to you. I think, yeah, thinking about it more, I think he's gonna be low B tier. I think he's the worst he's been. I don't think I'm lying, no. I don't think I'm lying. And people always call me biased. I just want to get this out. I'm not an Infernus main. I don't particularly love playing Infernus, even though I play him sometimes. I think he's pretty weak right now. He's gonna be below average at the bottom of B tier. You know who's not gonna be below average? Abrams. Abrams, last tier list, I rated him S tier. Now he's S++. Okay, so tanks in general in Deathball are insane. And Abrams is like a top 3 character in the game right now, I want to say. In fact, he got better with all the updates because everything he does, he still can do at the same rate while everyone else kind of got nerfed and he kind of went under the radar, right? Like, for example, Billy got nerfed, right? And you want a frontline, and Abrams is the most solid frontline in the game right now, other than Billy still, who's still insane, by the way. So Abrams is an S++ meta-defining character. He's insane. He has one slight weakness, which is he's okay in lane, but then everything after is just crazy at all points. Yeah. Okay, Bebop. I want to put him A. Yeah. I don't think he's like meta-defining. I don't think he's like S tier. I don't think he's mid either. I don't think he's an average character. I think he's definitely above average. He still has a very strong lane. And again, tankiness right now is king. Bebop is very good in brawling. Bebop is very good in a deathball scenario, right? He can be an initiator. And plus you have to keep in mind, other initiators, since this major patch that we had, the major balance patch, are a lot weaker, right? I'm talking especially Holiday and Pocket. I'm not saying they're unplayable, but they're weaker, which in turn makes Bebop stronger because he's just a good initiator. Billy. They nerfed him. They made it so you can't use Blasted anymore on Sinner Sacrifices. They nerfed his scaling on Blasted and a few other things. But in general, he's still Thanos. Like, he's still insane. Like, he's a tiny bit weaker than before, but like, he was so strong before, I cannot reasonably not call him a top 3 character in the game. Calico. What do we think about Calico? I think she's okay. I think he's just an average character. I think she's okay. I don't think she's A tier. I think she's middle of the pack. She's playable. She's okay in lane. She's okay at nuking. She's just a pretty solid character, I want to say. By the way, Chunk, you have to cut out my pauses. I have to blow my nose. If you don't do this, I will fire you. Dorman. S tier, right? S tier. Dorman is, right now, probably one of the strongest laners in the game. His fucking call bell does more damage than any other nuke ability in the early game. He has the best utility in the game. Dorman players are getting really good at putting you into a walker in every situation. S+++, depending on the player. I think he's an S tier, meta-defining character. I will reserve S++ for the 3 best characters in the game, I want to say. Because I have like one more in mind. So I don't think he's a top 3 character in the game. I think he's like a top 10 at least, like, or a top 5. Like, he's very, very strong. I don't know. I really genuinely, this is not like engagement bait, but if you're watching this on YouTube, please let me know if you struggle against Drifter in the game. Because I know I always hear he's a menace in low rank and people hate playing against him. He got hard gutted and he was, before this patch, he was okay. He wasn't OP. And they nerfed his bullet damage, his base bullet damage by like over 10%. He's back to dog shit. I don't even want to put him C tier. I don't even want to put him C tier. I always say this, if you're struggling against Drifter, as long as you have one person with you, he becomes useless. Like, I want to put him in D. I really think he's that bad. Like, he got hit very hard in the last patch, and I don't think he needed a nerf at all. I can tell you from Eternus level, from high level, he was not OP, okay, before this. I know maybe he was OP before this patch in lower rank, but he was very mediocre, like B tier at best, before this nerf. And they put him... The one thing he had going for him was because of his high base regen, his laning was pretty good, right? But now, because he doesn't do damage in lane, or way less damage, even his laning is weaker, which... I don't know. Like, Yoshi hates Dorman, I think. This character will just never be playable. And that's another thing, yeah. He's bad in Deathball meta. He wants to find targets that are isolated. You don't even find targets that are isolated in this meta. Yeah, I think he's dog shit. I think he's a very bad character. Maybe D is a tiny bit too low for him, because I guess we can get into this now. I will put 70 tier, and I will explain to you why. I've tried making the character work in the last few days. I know there's a build by OCs that is very popular, where you farm a lot. The one thing 7 has going for him is, he's the only character really in the game that can farm jungle quite efficiently in the mid game, okay? Like, jungle is useless for most characters because jungle takes so long to farm. 7 can do that. But the issue with him is, he can't do anything else. You're basically a creep for the entire game, and all you're doing when you play 7 is, you hope that your team does their job, right? You're completely reliant on your team. You don't have any, you can't win the game by yourself. And that's why I put him so low. Because I think if your team is good, right? If your team is winning 5v6, then yeah, you will carry in the late game. But you could have done that on any other carry as well, right? So there is no upside to playing this character, in my opinion. Right? He's just weaker than other carries. He is worse in lane than basically anyone else. Like, I think he's the bottom 3 laners in the game. He just doesn't have anything going for him that makes him good. His ult doesn't do damage. I think he's the worst character in the game. Still. Dynamo did actually get a nerf. His uppercut or his stomp damage scaling on Spirit got nerfed by a bit. Not much. Which honestly makes sense because this character got a lot stronger with the big balance patch, right? Like, he feels very solid in lane now. Like, he's actually scary in lane. Like, the uppercut buffs helped him a lot. And he especially does well in Deathball, right? Deathball, lots of big team fights. Dynamo loves that, you know, Black Hole, the more people are fighting, the better for him, right? So, Dynamo, I want to put in S tier. I'm going to put him in S tier. This might be, like, I was going to put him in A, but I think he is performing really well in low rank. And even in high rank, like, if you have a Dynamo, you're actually kind of happy. Like, I think he's an S tier character. I think this is the first time ever where I rated Dynamo that high. Like, I think he's an S tier character. Great Talon? Is Great Talon average or above average? I think he's playable. He's not S tier. Like, he's good in lane, and then he does good damage, but he's a glass cannon, right? He needs his team in front of him. I think he's an average character right now. And again, don't take average as bad, right? B is completely average. Maybe a bit slightly above average, I want to say, right? He's high B tier. I don't think he's that amazing. He's good. He's good. Haze, I think, is crazy, actually. And when I say crazy, I mean, like, she's pretty good. Like, she's better than, like, most metas we had with her. Probably the most viable gun-only character other than Warden. But, like, you know, like, she fills the initiator role again that is left a bit more open now with Paradox and Holiday being a bit weaker, right? She can't be, like, a hard carry. She's still pretty squishy. But she feels very good, and I think she's very strong in lane right now. Like, this is probably the strongest Haze has ever been in lane. Because, like, the bullet changes or the bullet damage increase really helped her. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll put her A tier. Actually, high A tier. Holiday. Still above average, right? Yeah. Like, obviously, she got nerfed a lot, right? Like, her movement is not what it used to be. Like, her escape is not quite what it used to be. She's weaker in, like, everything a bit, right? Like, her laning is weaker. Her mid game is weaker. But the fact Lasso and Jump Pad are still crazy abilities, right? Like she is still really good. She's still a really good initiator. I can't rate her lower than, like, above average. Because there's a lot of characters in the game that I think that are underperforming and are quite bad. Which, I'll get to this now. I thought this was one of my big mistakes in the last tier list. I thought Ivy was going to be insane. Turns out, with the new investment system, Ivy benefits from it way less than most other characters. You just can't, like, you don't really get value from getting 4.8k Spirit early. Because either you're playing full carry with gun, or you're playing, like, Spirit support, right? So it's very hard to make hybrid builds work on Ivy. And hybrid builds are the meta, right? Right now for basically everyone in the game. And Ivy doesn't really do that well. So I'm gonna put Ivy C tier. Is she? No. B tier. I can't put her C tier. I just thought about it. Okay, now we're getting to C tier because I looked at Kelvin, right? And I think, like, Kelvin obviously got big readjustments since the last patch. Like, the ult got a massive nerf, right? Like, it's up way less, right? Like, turns out 40-50 second cooldown increase is a lot, right? So, I mean, in my opinion, it's good that he got gutted. He's been insane for, like, half a year in a row. But I do think he's, like, a below average support now. I don't really see a lot of Kelvin in high rank. And when I do, he doesn't feel nearly as oppressive, right? Like, everything about the character got weaker, right? Like, his gun is weaker, like, it shoots slower. His nades got a lot weaker. Like, he's weaker in lane, he's weaker in mid game. He got nerfed quite hard. So, yeah, I want to say Kelvin is below average. Bang. Hot take of the video, I guess. Maybe hot take. I think this character is OP. I think most Geist players don't get the full potential out of her. If you have really good aim on Geist, hybrid Geist builds are crazy. Like, she's broken. She's broken. She's one of the best laners again, because every other laner above her got nerfed. She's one of the best laners. She has insane farm potential. She has insane fight potential. Life swap will always be good. She's crazy. She's a meta-defining top 3 character in the game, in my opinion. Lash. Turns out, after all the Lash buffs, he's still kind of shit, no? I think he's still kind of shit. Like, they made his flock cooldown lower, they made his flock damage, they, like, increase his flock damage, right? So he's a bit better in lane. But, like, again, he's still reliant on getting a specific lane. Left lane comes to mind, where he has the high ground, where he can slam. So he's only viable on one lane. In mid, he feels like shit. On the right lane, he feels like shit. He's not an A tier character. Guys. The issue with Lash is still, the enemy can buy counterspell and you're still useless. Like, Death Slam is still not a scary ability. I think Death Slam is one of the worst ultimates in the game now. I don't think Lash is anywhere above average. You know who's above average? McGinnis. I think I put her S tier. It's really hard if you're in a game against McGinnis to see how much value she's getting. But again, a character that really benefited a lot from the changes. She's really good with hybrid. Like, you build gun, right? And then you build like either like Mystic Slow or like any purple items, a few. So suddenly your turrets are also really scary. And then you do a lot of damage with your gun, right? And you have a lot of healing. Plus you're really good at split pushing. This character is crazy. This character is crazy. Like, she's really strong, I think, in every rank. Yeah. She's really good. Like, this character, the only downside this character has is she doesn't have an ult, right? Like the ult is fucking useless, basically, right? But McGuinness is very good. Very good. Mina! We really saw her drop out of the meta quite a bit, right? We really see a lot less Mina. But like, it doesn't really mean much, because before Mina was the best character in the game, right? Or top 3 characters in the game. I think she's like an 80 character. I think she's slightly above average. Like, the nerfs definitely did hurt her, especially in lane. She does less damage. Yeah, we're seeing a lot less Mina, and that's a good thing, in my opinion. Like, I'm gonna rate Mina low A tier. Mirage. S tier, no? Okay, so, Mirage, you build hybrid, you get Surge of Power, and Mystic Burst, plus like extra Spirit or something in lane, and suddenly, you do like, almost like 800 damage, with just a Jin's Mark proc in lane. But that being said, I see him underperform in lower rank. So I'll put him A. I think it's a skill issue. I think if you play Mirage properly, he's scary as fuck. Right? I think he's scary as fuck. He's one of the best characters, again, that benefited from the changes to investment systems. I think Mirage is also kind of boring to a lot of people. So you saying in chat, like, nobody plays him. I think Mirage is not being played because most people find him boring, including myself. Like, I like shooting my gun, but Mirage is just too boring to me. No, I have to take an average. I think if I rated him for Eternus only, it would be S tier. But I think considering lower ranks, like, he is kind of different in playstyle. Like, you have to be very on point with where you are on this character compared to other characters. And I think that's the reason he's kind of not performing as well in lower rank. So I'll put him A tier on average, right? Okay. Mo? Mo is okay, no? I think Mo is like balanced, no? Is he good? What do we think of Mo? Mo still fucking sucks to play against because, again, if you get grabbed, you still die. And like, technically he's pretty good in Deathball, right? Paige, I will rate a bit higher. If Paige is played properly, I think she's the best support in the game, right? Like, she's definitely the best support in the game if you consider healing, right? Like, slash giving people armor. Very strong in lane still. Can win lanes by herself with the right combo. Ult is really good to steal mid boss. Ult is really good in team fights, right? Like, ult is Paige ult is really strong in Deathball. So yeah, A tier character. Is it a hot take to put Paradox lower than Holiday? I mean, Paradox is a lot weaker than before. I think Holiday is better. By a bit, right? Like, I think Holiday is the best character to compare her to. They do kind of similar things. Again, I think Paradox feels weaker in lane than Holiday nowadays. Okay, so this was the dumbest take of my last tier list, if you've watched it. I put this character in like D or C tier. I don't know why. I don't know what I was smoking. I apologize for everyone watching that shit. Pocket is still crazy. My most hated character in the game, so I'm probably biased here. I'm gonna put him S tier. Fuck you guys. I don't know why. I thought that with all the spirit nerfs, that Pocket would get hit hard. But it turns out, he still presses 4 and kills you. I think this character is fucking stupid. I think this character is broken. I'm gonna keep Pocket S tier. I think you press 4 and you get all the value you need. Alright, last meta-defining character, which almost makes me want to put guys in S tier. Yeah, I said top 3. Notice how they're all tanks and they all either like don't die or one-shot you or both. Shiv got nerfed. He now has 8% slower build-up on rage. But if you're a Shiv player, you know that doesn't matter. Broken in lane, broken in mid-game, one-shots you at any point in the game. Presses one button, you die. And he doesn't die. We like, in Deathball, Shiv is like the best Deathballer in the game. Shiv loves to be in a fight with multiple people because he presses dash, they all get hit, everyone dies, you're happy, you press 4, right? Like, Shiv is the best Deathballer in the game. I'm gonna put him higher than Abrams, actually, I think. Yeah, Shiv is top 2 character in the game. Crazy, broken. Nerf. Remove Shiv from the game, Yoshi. Sinclair? I've seen some really stupid shit on Sinclair. I think he can be a bully. But I think, again, I cannot rate him higher than B because, okay, so hear me out. In some games, when he has good ults to steal, he's like S+, right? Or S. And then in some games, he doesn't have good ults to steal and he's like C, right? So I have to take an average. Sinclair is so reliant on what the enemy team has as their comp that it's just kind of RNG right now until we get draft, right? Like once we get draft, if we had draft right now and I would only draft Sinclair against good ults to steal, like Warden ult for example, right? Then I would like 100% rate this character S tier. But it's like a hit or miss right now. Victor, again, I'll call out Reddit here. There was a Reddit post yesterday that complained about Victor being too OP. That is self-exposed for being an initiate. People still ask me how to counter Victor. Nothing wrong with it. Here's the thing. You don't stand melee range to him and he does nothing. His gun doesn't scale as well as other guns. You still have to build him spirit. And he still has to farm for ages until he gets good. And if you want to farm for ages, spoilers, there's 2 characters coming up that are just better at hard carrying. This character is just very bad right now. He's not unplayable, but he's one of the worst characters in the game, I want to say. Like, I think they need to buff his gun, so he's a bit more scary mid-game, maybe? I think he's just bad, right? Like, yeah, he gets shit on by anti-heal, he gets shit on by shred. Vindicta is easy as also. You run hybrid build, you run some gun items, you run snipe, rapid recharge, you do 800, 900 damage with snipe, you never die, they all die in 2 shots. Best glass cannon in the game, by far better than Great Talon right now, right? Yeah. Like, easily an SD character. Like a top 5 character, I want to say. Yeah. Really strong in lane as well. No weaknesses, really, right? Like, the only weakness she has is if people can catch up to you. Or catch you off guard. But because the meta is so deathbally, usually your team is in before you, so Vindicta sits in the back and shoots everyone, right? Like, it's very hard to catch her out. And again, like... these tanks, right, like the meta-defining characters are not that great at catching out Vindicta, right, if she's like careful with her positioning. So, Viscus actually got passively nerfed because they gutted Express Shot in the last patch, right? They made Express Shot a lot weaker and Viscus was played as a one-shot nuker where you would get Express Shot, Glass Cannon, and then Tank Buster, and you would use everything at once, right? Like splatter, punch, right-click, and they would, boom, die. And that playstyle got weaker. But... Viscus is still really good in lane. Like, I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's bad. I think he's an 80 character. I think he's better than average if you play him well. But that being said, in low ranks, people don't really play him much. Like, you know, they don't get a lot of value. So maybe I'll put him high B. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, Space is a Viscus one trick. Every time Viscus is not OP, Space acts like Viscus is the worst character in the game. But Viscus is still good. What are we doing with the Viper? I think she's okay. Okay, listen, I don't want to put Viper in A. You want to know why? Like, I think she's very scary in lane, right? Like, she does a lot of damage in lane. But after that, if you don't... So, the only way to carry on Viper is you have a really strong lane, and then you come out and AFK farm, and then you're like really scary and you go brr, brr, brr. But Metal Skin exists, and not every lane you're gonna hard win on Viper. And if you don't hard win the lane on Viper... she's kind of, yeah, exactly. Like, she's S tier in lane, and then she falls off quite hard unless you have, like, the best start ever. Boom! Warden is still crazy. I think Warden is the best gun carry. If you want a hard gun carry that can tank, I think Warden is your go-to guy. I think he's like, you know, last tier list I rated him S++, but then he got nerfed. I think he's really good still. Wraith in pubs. I think if you play her, she did get nerfed, right? They made her laning weaker again. I think the way to go, I'll sell out here real quick. Green Wraith. Let's see. I put McGinnis in S and Warden. Yeah, okay. Fair. Look, so I know that Wraith is dominating low rank right now. I get it, right? Because low rank games last very long. And like when Wraith is the best hard carry in the game if you get to like 50 minutes, right? I have to rate her high because if I don't rate her high, then my chat is going to call me biased again. But... she has that one weakness of her, which is she's horrible in lane, right? Yamato? Bomb. A tier? I feel bad. Like, every time I end up, like, at Yamato, you know, I talked about every other hero and then I have nothing to say about her. I will say she's weaker than before, right? Like, they nerfed her laning. But that being said, she's still a tanky carry character that nukes. So, I do think... she's still very solid. Like, when we first started playing this patch, right, everyone was like, oh my god, gun's strong. And then people played for a week, 2, and now we're, you know, 2.5 weeks in that patch. And people realized, wait, I can just buy metal skin and the gun characters don't do anything, right? We're in a hybrid meta. Everything is viable, but spirit nukers are still thriving, for sure. Not as super broken as before, but everything is kind of viable. But because I made the HP pools bigger across the board, on paper it shouldn't help the tanks, but somehow it made them better. I think the main reason you see the tanks being so dominant is they're just great in brawling and they're great in like big team fights, right? Because if you have a squishy character in a 6-man fight, if you get caught out on like a squishy character, you instantly die, but Abrams can really go in 1v6 and live for quite a while, right? Like there's so much space they can create as tanks. We're in a goats meta, if you played Overwatch. We're in a tank meta, right? For sure. I do think overall the patch is great, by the way. I think this is a really good patch. I think almost everything is viable. I am sad for my Drifter boys. I don't play Drifter personally much. I'm sad for them because they make him like at this point I don't think he's ever gonna be a good character because every time he's like kind of playable, they gut him. And I miss playing 7. And then otherwise, I think the strength of the strong heroes and the weak heroes, it's not as big of a gap as it used to be, right? The patch before, the Mina nuke meta, characters were either Thanos or dog shit, but I think now we have a very gradual, very fair hero pool, and I want to say everything that is not D tier here, you can probably play and do fine. Like C and D, I would like, I would be like, eh, but like, I just wanted to know, like, if you pick one of those B tier characters, right, like, if you play Paradox, you're almost as strong as S tier characters, Like, I think the strength of the average S tier character compared to the average B tier character is pretty small.